If you had told me a year ago that I'd fall in love with Oliver, I would have laughed, probably even called you crazy. Oliver was Ava's husband after all. Ava, my best friend, my sister by choice, my ride or die since high school. You just don't cross lines like that. But there I was, standing in their backyard during a casual Sunday barbecue, camera slung around my neck, catching the golden evening sunlight on the faces of laughing friends, oblivious to the chaos brewing inside me. "Hey, Chloe, grab a shot of this," Ava called out, holding up a perfectly grilled burger, her wide grin brightening her face. I chuckled and adjusted the focus, capturing her infectious energy. "Perfect," I shouted back, giving her a thumbs up. "You always make me look good," she laughed, blowing me a kiss before spinning around to serve her guests. And then, almost on instinct, I turned slightly, lens aimed, snapping a candid of Oliver flipping burgers, his brow furrowed in concentration. Through my camera, I saw him differently, the curve of his jaw, the effortless confidence in his stance. Heat rushed to my cheeks as I lowered my camera, feeling suddenly guilty. I didn't want to feel this way. Not about him. Not about Ava's husband. "You okay?" Oliver called over, noticing my discomfort. "Oh yeah, just the sun. It's getting intense," I lied, forcing a laugh. "Here." He handed the spatula off to someone nearby, grabbing a chilled soda from the cooler, and walked it over to me. "Hydration. Can't have our favorite photographer passing out." Our fingers brushed as he handed me the drink, and a spark jumped between us. Quick, quiet, forbidden. I immediately looked away, unscrewing the cap with fumbling fingers. "Thanks, Ollie," I mumbled, trying to act normal, trying to remind myself how wrong all of this was. He lingered a second longer than usual, eyes briefly locking onto mine before turning back to the grill. "Everything good over here?" Ava chimed in, sliding an arm around my shoulder and squeezing tight. "Yeah," I said quickly, laughing a bit too loudly. "Just stealing your husband for hydration purposes." She smirked playfully. "As long as you keep him hydrated and fed, steal away. I have no complaints." Oliver rolled his eyes dramatically, laughing along as if nothing happened. But something had happened. Something had shifted. And the worst part was, deep down, I wanted it. And I hated myself for it. The sun slipped lower, bathing everything in soft gold and orange hues. I watched Ava move gracefully through the yard, greeting friends, effortlessly radiant. She deserved the world, and yet, here I was, harboring a secret that felt like a betrayal, just by existing. As everyone gathered around the table for dinner, Oliver caught my eye again, offering a gentle smile. A smile filled with a subtle, unspoken understanding. My heart thumped painfully, and guilt twisted sharply inside my stomach. I knew then, as the evening light faded and laughter filled the summer air, that nothing between us would ever be simple again. You ever have one of those nights where everything looks fine on the outside, but something underneath feels off? Like you're watching yourself in a movie, smiling, laughing, playing your part. But you know deep down, you're one wrong glance away from everything falling apart. That was me, sitting in Ava's living room, curled up on her couch with a glass of red in my hand, pretending like my stomach wasn't in knots. The TV was on, but neither of us were watching. Some reality show where strangers yell at each other for clout. Background noise. Ava was beside me, scrolling on her phone with that half-bored, half-nosy look she always gets when she's creeping someone's profile. I knew the rhythm of these nights. Girls' night, wine, low-stakes drama. But tonight, something felt heavier. "So guess who messaged me again?" she said, not even looking up. "Who?" I asked, taking a sip just to buy myself a second. "That guy from the gym. The one who asked if I painted my eyebrows or if they just grow in perfect." She rolled her eyes and finally looked at me, I swear, Chloe, men are either creepy or married. There's no in between. And just like that, I felt my chest tighten. I was both. Creepy, for how I looked at Oliver lately. Married? Number. But he was. I forced a laugh. Block him, seriously. She shrugged. I might. Honestly, I'm just bored. That word hit me like a slap. Bored? I glanced at her, trying to keep my expression neutral. You're bored with Oliver? I asked. Casual. Light. Like I wasn't hanging on her every word. She didn't answer right away. Just stared at the ceiling like she was reading some truth up there. Then she let out this long sigh, the kind you only make when you're too tired to lie. I mean, he's still a good man. He does everything right. Provides. Helps around the house. But lately, it's like we don't see each other anymore. I didn't know what to say to that. Because the part of me that was her best friend wanted to tell her to talk to him. Fix it. But the part of me that had started feeling something real, something dangerous, for her husband, that part stayed silent. She turned her head toward me, eyes glassy but calm. Is it bad that sometimes I wish things felt more exciting? God. I stared into my wine like it could offer me a lifeline. No, I said softly. It's not bad. Just human. We sat in silence for a bit, and then, as if summoned by the weight in the room, we heard footsteps coming down the stairs. Oliver. He walked in with damp hair, sweatpants, and a hoodie, rubbing the back of his neck like he always did when he was tired. Hey, he said. Didn't mean to interrupt. You're not, Ava said, her tone casual again. We're just talking trash. He gave a small smile. Classic. Then his eyes met mine. Just for a second. But it was enough. My skin prickled. My breath caught. I hated that I felt anything at all. I hated more that I didn't look away. He said goodnight and disappeared back upstairs. Ava leaned into the couch and rested her head on my shoulder. He's a good guy, Chloe. I know that. I just don't know if I'm still in it, you know? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because deep down, I was terrified that I was. In it. In love. With the one man I had no right to want. And the worst part? A piece of me believed he felt it too. I didn't plan it. God knows I didn't wake up that day thinking, today's the day I let it slip. But some moments catch you sideways, and before you can brace for impact, you're already falling. It was a rainy Wednesday, one of those slow gray days where everything feels heavier. I was at their house again, because of course I was. Ava had a dentist appointment, and Oliver had asked me to stick around in case the plumber came. I said yes before I thought about it, because saying no would have felt more suspicious than walking into a house where the man I shouldn't be thinking about made coffee with his sleeves rolled up. So I was there, curled up in their reading nook with my laptop, half editing a photo set I didn't care about. I heard him come downstairs, the soft thump of socks on hardwood. You want coffee? He called from the kitchen. Sure, I said without looking up, praying my voice didn't betray anything. He walked in and handed me a mug, black like always. No small talk, just silence. But not the kind that's empty, the kind that feels too full. I looked up to thank him, and that's when it happened. He sat down, right across from me, and just said it. Do you ever feel like you're waiting for something that's never gonna happen? I blinked. What? He didn't laugh, didn't explain, just stared at the steam rising from his mug like it had answers. I mean, you ever feel like your life is just going through the motions? Like you're stuck on a script someone else wrote and you can't remember auditioning for? I didn't answer right away, because honestly, yeah, I felt that. Every damn day I was around him. What brought that on? I asked. He shrugged, finally looking at me. I don't know. Just been thinking a lot lately. I should have walked out. Right then. Grabbed my things. Said I had errands. But I didn't. Instead, I said something stupid. I think about that too. He looked at me, really looked, and for a second, it was like the room folded in on itself, like the world got too quiet, like something unspoken between us finally stepped into the light. You do? He said, his voice low. I nodded. More than I should. I didn't mean for it to sound like that. Or maybe I did, because he didn't look confused. He didn't ask what I meant. He just held my gaze like he'd been waiting for me to say it. That's when Ava called. Her name lit up my phone like a warning shot. I let it ring once, twice, then answered with a shaky, "Hey." Still at the house? She asked, chipper and unaware. Yeah, I said, glancing at Oliver. All good. Plumber didn't show. Of course, she groaned. I'll be back in like 20. Want Thai for dinner? Sure, that sounds great. I hung up, set the phone down, and tried to steady my breath. Oliver leaned back in his chair, still staring at me, but now with a kind of knowing that terrified me. Maybe we should stop, I whispered. Stop what? Whatever this is. He didn't argue, didn't nod either. He just said, It's not nothing. And the worst part? I knew he was right. We hadn't crossed a line with our bodies. But our hearts? They were already on the other side. You ever have someone beat you to the punch? Like you've been walking around with a secret burning a hole in your chest, planning how you'll finally say it, bracing for the fallout, and then the other person says something that knocks the air out of your lungs before you even open your mouth. That was me. I had finally worked up the nerve. I told myself, tonight's the night. No more pretending. I couldn't live like this, strung out between guilt and longing, caught in a space that didn't belong to me. So when Ava called and asked if I could come over for a glass of wine and girl talk, I said yes. Because I needed to talk too. I needed to tell her, even if it meant blowing everything up. She was already pouring when I walked in. Cabernet, 2 glasses, her eyes a little red, but not from crying. Not yet. I need to tell you something, I said, before she could even say hi properly. She blinked. Wait, me too. Can I go first? I froze. My mouth said, okay. But my gut said no. Something was off. We sat down on the couch, same spot where we'd shared popcorn and gossip and Netflix 100 times before. And then she just said it. No build-up, no drama. Just the truth, like she was ripping off a bandage. I'm leaving Oliver. My heart stopped. What? I barely got the word out. She nodded, sipping her wine like it was water. I haven't told him yet, but I'm done. I've been done for a while, honestly. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. But why? You always said he was... I know, she cut in. He's a good guy. Too good, maybe. That's the problem. We stopped being real with each other. Everything's routine, predictable. It's like I'm playing wife in someone else's life. She looked at me then. Really looked. And for a split second, I thought she knew. I've been feeling this way for a while, she said, but I didn't want to be the bad guy. You know? I nodded slowly. Yeah, I get that. She sighed, leaned back, and stared at the ceiling. And the weirdest part? I think he's in love with someone else. I almost dropped my glass. What? I asked, voice cracking. She turned to me with this small, tired smile. Yeah, I see the way he looks at her. He's different when she's around. Softer. It's like she wakes him up. Every cell in my body screamed, don't ask, but I couldn't help it. Who? Ava just shook her head. Doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't even blame him. If anything, I'm kind of relieved. Maybe it'll make this easier. I sat there in silence, completely unraveling on the inside while she finished her glass and stood to grab another. Life's funny, she said from the kitchen. You think you know where the story's going, and then, bam, plot twist. I laughed, because it was the only thing I could do without falling apart. But in that moment, I knew with absolute certainty. The woman she was talking about was me. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Ava's words playing on repeat like a broken record. I think he's in love with someone else. He's different when she's around. Maybe it'll make this easier. She didn't say my name. She didn't have to, because deep down, I already knew. And now she did too. The next morning I told myself I'd keep my distance. Back off. Disappear if I had to. Let them figure it out on their own. But that's not how it played out. Around noon, Oliver texted, "Hey, you okay?" I stared at it for a full 10 minutes before typing back. She told me. 2 words. That's all I wrote. But somehow, it said everything. His reply came instantly. "Can you come over?" My stomach turned. I knew I should have said no. But I didn't. The house was quiet when I got there. The kind of quiet that felt like something had ended and no one knew what came next. Oliver opened the door, and for a second, I forgot how to breathe. He didn't speak right away, just stepped aside to let me in. "She told you?" he finally asked. I nodded. "She's leaving," he said, voice low. "She says it's mutual, but it doesn't feel mutual." I watched him, this man who had always seemed so steady. Now, he looked lost. "She thinks you're in love with someone else," I said carefully. He didn't flinch. Instead, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "She's right." I felt my knees go weak. I tried not to, he went on. Tried to ignore it. Pretend it was just comfort, familiarity. But it's more than that. You know it is. I sat down on the edge of their couch. Our couch now, I guess. My hands trembling. "This is a mess, Oliver," I whispered. "She's my best friend." "I know. She trusts me." "I know. She said it's okay, but it doesn't feel okay." He nodded slowly, came to sit across from me like we always did. Only this time, the air between us was thick with everything we'd never said. "I'm not asking you for anything," he said. "Not now. Not yet. I just needed to tell you. I needed you to hear it." And then, just like that, he reached across the space and gently took my hand. "I never planned for any of this," he said. "But if there's one thing I know, I don't want to lie anymore. Not to her. Not to myself. Not to you." I didn't answer, because there wasn't anything left to say. His hand stayed in mine. No pressure, no promises. Just the truth between us. Finally out in the open. And for the first time in months, I breathed. Deep and real. Because yes, the fallout would be ugly. And yes, people would judge. But this was real. And after all the secrets and silence, real was the only thing I had left. So viewers, this one's tricky. On the surface, yeah, Chloe catching feelings for Oliver looks bad. That's her best friend's husband. Lines don't get much clearer than that. But then you've got Ava, already halfway out the door, basically admitting she's done and hinting she knows something's going on. It's messy from every angle. I can't really say there's a clean, right move here. Do you walk away and protect the friendship? Or do you admit the truth and see where it goes? Either way, someone's getting hurt. What about you? If you were in Chloe's shoes, Would you keep your distance or take the risk? And if you were Ava, how would you handle knowing your husband might be in love with your best friend? Thanks for tuning in. Drop your thoughts below, because I know this one's going to stir up some strong opinions. Until next time.